Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Connect, Share, Prosper. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, here with your host, Chaz Wilson. Chaz, today we've got Aaron Bayer telling his Master Network story.
Well, we've got Aaron Bayer. We were just talking about the whole.
Oh, man, I was thinking I'm going to get it right. And then I said it's a pattern.
That's okay. So super excited to have Aaron Bayer from the great state of Minnesota, the birthplace of Master Network. So yes.
Hey, and my wife, the birthplace of my wife.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you told me that. That's great.
She's from Minnesota.
So Aaron, we're super excited to have you on here. Now, for those watching, tell us, how long have you been a member of Master Networks?
Yeah, so I've been a member of Master Networks now. It's been a little over 2 years.
Wow, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about how you found Master Networks and why you, in the current state of your business, what you do, tell us what you do, decided to join Master Networks.
Yeah, so my business, my wife and I have a health and wellness business. So what we do, it's essentially think supplements, like an Amazon of supplements. So it's totally online. And what we kind of unique where we'll design supplemental packages for people designed for a specific goal. So if it's weight wellness, performance, energy, healthy aging, we'll kind of make a supplement-based system for them to follow. And if people don't want that, they just want individual products, we can meet that need as well. So it's great. Love helping people, and fitness and health is really important with me with a military background. So Master Networks, I was looking for a networking group, and I had visited a couple, and nothing really, just that internal, this is right. It just wasn't there. And I actually got an invite from Donna Mathowitz. I know she's been a long time Master Networks member, and it was actually sent to my wife. And she was like, hey, I don't feel like going to this. Do you want to go check it out? And I just kind of had the mindset, I'm going to go and I'll just make a couple connections, not really having any interest. And this was just because of the mindset I had from other groups I had visited. So I went, and immediately I was like, this is what I'm looking for. This is where I want to be. It was
what was the quality that made that? What was that made that happen for you? Yeah, go ahead.
It's I think it was just right away I could see the relationship basis of it. Whereas, and it was I could tell people wanted to be there. That was and it was. I don't know what it was just, it's hard to explain. It was just this connection, right away. I
think it's so funny because a lot of people go to groups, right?
I'll be honest, it was a culture fit.
Yeah.
It reminded me of a lot of the company that we're associated with, where I'm it just aligned. That's the best way I can say it. It was just aligned with me internally. So
I think it's funny because people will, and maybe this is a follow-up question, but people will go to networking groups on their own volition, they chose to go there, and yet they suffer through it because they don't want to be there. They're like, I have to do this. Why do I do this?
A little add on this, really, I'm very loyal. So I had some relationships from one of the groups I had met with, and I didn't really want to join that group. And finally I was like, I'm going to go join that group. And it was when I went to visit, they weren't there. And I called my buddy. I'm like, hey, what's going on? You guys still meet here? And he's like, oh, we just disbanded. And I was like, yes, now I can join the Master Network chat. I don't feel guilty. It was I went home and submitted my application.
That's awesome. So little over 2 years. And what have you got from the group? What value how's it impacted you? And, why do you, people are looking at networking groups, as Chris said, I think the moment they move from it being an obligation to an opportunity, great things start to happen. So why for you has it continued to be that opportunity over 2 years?
Yeah, this is great. I love sharing this because it's completely different than why I joined the group. I'll be honest, I joined a Master Networks group because I was looking to grow my business. It was totally an internal, I just want to meet people and build my business. And what I've gotten great referrals and everything from my group, but I would say the reason I'm staying in Master Networks are the relationships. The one thing I miss. I'm a very social person, and I love, what I do because I get to meet with people, but I don't have like the routine relationships I had in like my corporate job. So that's where my group meets that need, where I meet those people every week and I get to build on those relationships, and I have the members I meet with once or twice a month for lunch. And, you kind of have that deeper relationship just versus, hey, one-off meetings. The other thing is the personal development and training I get out of Master Networks. I'm already big into that. And that in itself has just been, worth more than, I've gotten more value out of that than anything. Just the training and everything I get out of Master Networks. That's been fabulous just as an entrepreneur and as a person.
So it's interesting that you bring up those reasons. We shared this at our most recent leadership retreat. We did a survey. 1/3 of all of our members took the survey, which that in itself is like, wow. I know. So we got 1/3 of our members that completed the survey. We asked them why they joined. And literally the same reason, Aaron. It was because initially when you look at a networking group, you're looking at what can I get from it, which is natural. We all do that anytime we invest our time or money somewhere. What am I going to get? What's the ROI on it? So that was number one, and you matched that and you validated it. Number two, why did you stay? Why do you stay? The number one overwhelming reason was the relationships.
Yeah.
The second was the education, although the hard part was we realized we need to go back and improve the question because people don't really stay for the education. That's not really a result. Everything else was a result, right? And so we're going to measure that out differently. But that was the second thing, was the education. So you literally just like validated exactly what our overall statistics are showing us.
Yeah.
So Aaron, you said you had background or experience with other groups, yes?
Yep.
How would you describe those groups? Like, what were they like in comparison to your experience with Master Networks?
And just to clarify, like I never had like a full group I had joined. I had visited a couple groups and checked things out. And I would say, what really interested me, one was I loved the month membership. So
because the other groups were like a long-term commitment.
Yeah, I was like, hey, you have to invest $400 to $600 for a year or two, and I was like, what if I don't like the people?
Right.
What if? That's what I was most concerned about. Like, what if I don't like the people?
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't want to just like, I knew like if I invested the money, like I would show up even if I didn't like it, and I didn't like that. So I love them. Like Master Networks was month to month, and I was like, okay, like to me that's almost like a selling point of how good it's going to be, because it's like, hey, we believe in this so much and we know you're going to get value out of it that we're not going to try to like lock you into something. And I would just say, and again, I think it has to do with the culture of Master Networks. Just it's relationship based and focused on growth and getting better. And that's going to attract people who are into, personal development and relationships. And I would just, again, it's hard for me to like articulate exactly what it was, but I would just say like fit for me, like in terms of alignment and values and everything like that. Like,
yeah, I
just knew instantly, like this aligns with my belief and how I see things. And this is what I want to be a part of. Not that, I think it might, sometimes it comes down to a person and, again, what's important to you. And
I think you can feel that. I mean,
yeah.
Chaz, I would say that's what people probably report back. Like you can feel when it's a fit.
Yeah. And that's why it aligns, the word you kept using, it aligns with you, your values, your being just aligns with it. It's not anything you have to sort of adapt to. You just align with that. And that's what we've always tried to build it as people who are looking for growth, right? It'll align with them. So Aaron, if I'm watching this, and I have a business, I'm a sales professional, a business leader, an entrepreneur, again, it's always, I can say what Master Networks is, but from a member to a potential prospect, a guest looking to join it, like what would you say to somebody who's at that point where, they're working hard and maybe they're seeing some success, but what value could Master Networks bring to them?
I think the value is, one, you get a whole room of people who are open to you promoting their business through them and utilizing their network. I think that's the most important piece is, and before I was in Master Networks, like I was like hunting for those people. Like I shouldn't say hunting, but I'm like in search of those people where, I'm meeting with friends and family and coworkers or people from church, and it's, if they're not business focused people, like me asking like, hey, can I utilize your network? It's not as, that's not a regular occurrence where people are like trying to like tap into their network, and it might just, like, I kind of felt like sometimes it was like weird. Some people are open to it, some people aren't. With Master Networks, like, you have that access to that. And I love, again, the education, the training that you're going to get. I pour a lot of, my time and resources into personal development already. And it isn't something where I'm like, oh, I've heard that before, or this is just a different spin on something I've already read. It's new material that I can take and apply. Like, a perfect example is kind of my go-to statement when people are like, what do you do? I always just said, or who's a perfect referral? I always just said, anyone who eats food. That was like my go-to line, because it was everybody. I was like, it's genius, right? I thought about how smart it was. And then it was like literally the first trading tidbit we had when I was a member of Master Networks was, you have to be specific. If it's too broad, it's too confusing for people. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I've been doing it wrong the whole time. So that's where, right there, that was like unlimited value, because I worked on getting specific asks every week where I'm trying to help people think of one or two people in their network that they can refer to me. So, it's just
Great.
little nuggets like that it's like, seems small and simple, but if you're new to sales and new to being an entrepreneur, it can have a huge benefit for you and your business.
Yeah. So good. It's so good. Chaz, any other sort of questions or things that are percolating to the surface?
Well, just one last thing. And I think anybody that's watching this, if you aren't part of Master Networks, and even especially if you are, I would say one of the best qualities about Aaron, that why it's been so successful, is his commitment to it. I think the mistake most people make in networking is they put a timetable to it. So they'll say, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to join the chamber. I'm going to join Master Networks. And if I don't see a result in, 4 months, then it's not for me. And the thing about relationships is you cannot put a timetable on them. You don't know what fruit's going to bear and how long that's going to be. And so to Aaron, his commitment to continually stay engaged and lead is why he's seen success. Master Networks is the framework with all the resources, but it's him maximizing it is why he's seeing the success. So to all you out there that are members, keep that in mind and keep pushing.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, Chaz and Aaron, if people want to learn about your business, like, where can they go to learn about your business?
Yeah. So first, I would love a friend's request on Facebook. Just, you can send me a message too and let me know this, you saw me on the podcast and you'd love to connect. And then you can check out our website. It's thisispurefreedom.com. And that kind of just tells more of our story and more of what we do.
Great.
And again, if there's any value or any help I can provide for people, just reach out and I'd love to connect.
Awesome. So good. So good. Chaz, if people want to learn more about Master Networks and this amazing company that you've created, where can people go to learn more about Master Networks?
Yeah, so hit us up on masternetworks.com. You can search for chapters. You can hit the website. You can search by zip code, by day, by state, whatever you want to look for. Find a local chapter. If you cannot find one in your area, reach out to us on the site about starting your own chapter. We're starting them all over the country, so don't worry about that. We'll be able to support you, hold your hand, and help you get started. masternetworks.com.
Awesome. Gentlemen, great episode today. Thank you for your time, and we'll catch you next time.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yep.